Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's I'm going to be reviewing a Range Rover SV. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Land Rover here in Lehi, Utah for giving me some time with this SV. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Jordan. And then on a side note, if you can save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is a twin-turbo 4.4-liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, if you get a 2023 or earlier Range Rover SV, it puts out 523 horsepower and then 553 pound-feet of torque. But if you get a 2024 and newer, the power outputs jump up to 626 horsepower and then 553 pound-feet of torque. So same torque as before, but more horsepower. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see pretty basic with the design, but I love the coloration here on the Range Rover logo. You guys can kind of see a little closer look at that. And then of course we have the kind of flush design here with the lights and the grille and everything. More of that coloration on the grille, by the way. And then look at the trim here at the bottom, really fancy looking. And so when you put it all together, I mean, this definitely makes a statement with the overall style, but also the coloration on this looks good. Now around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 285/40/23 in the front and over in the rear. And you can see that coloration continues onto the wheels. I mean, look how cool that is. And then we've got the blacked out brake caliper as well. And then no fender flares or anything, again, minimalist with the design, but we do have the SV logo here at the bottom. And you can see this trim's all blacked out, and this actually has power side steps. Kind of cool, kind of a cool feature. And then here is your full side view, super sleek, as you can see. And then take a look at the key fob. We have our lock and unlock function. We got the opening for the hatch, and then that's for the lights. And then you got the SV logo here in the back of the key fob. And then popping into the back, you've got this fancy tonneau cover that automatically rolls back when the hatch opens. It's actually a pretty cool thing to see. And then look how thick the carpeting is with the floor mats. Now, with the suspension in the back, you can raise and lower it with those functions at the bottom portion right here. And then you have this for the cargo cover to roll it back and everything, which is pretty cool. And then also the seats, you can fold them down as well. So yeah, everything's automated. And being a full size, it's got tons of storage space behind the third row. And then the cool thing about the hatch system is it'll all go in together at the same time. We've got the minimalist taillight design. This is actually the taillight itself, but it's kind of hidden in the rest of the trim. SV logo here, and then you can see Range Rover there. And then we do have parking sensors at the bottom. And putting it all together, again, the subtle trim pieces they add to the SV, I think just add to the cool look. And I just realized the roof is in that same, I think this is like rose gold. It's the coloration on it. I don't know. I've never seen a spec like this before in person. It's very unique. Now popping inside, you guys can see two-tone with the coloration, and look at the wood trim with this one. We've got our seat adjustments for the back passengers, and then you guys can see the stuff with the window control. And then look at the door lock and unlock, and I love the finish there at the handle. And it is soft touch all the way to the bottom, so just really nice trim over the whole door panel. And then look at the headrests with these seats. They're like giant pillows. This is really cool with the design. Perforated all down the center portion. And even this, as you can see, stitching and everything there. And then the seat belts match with the coloration. Now legroom back here is really solid. We have a little storage pocket there as well. Got TVs in the back. Fancy looking grab handle. And then this is cool. We have like our own little infotainment system here in the rear. We can do the blinds. That's so cool. And then with the seats, there's a massage function here in the back. I mean, this literally has it all. What is that? I haven't reviewed one of these in, I think, like over a year because these are super rare, hard to find. That is very slow. But I guess that it's a... When I talk about over-engineered cup holders, this is what I mean. Like, that is as over-engineered as it gets for a cup holder. My goodness. You've got nice leather trim on this, by the way, because this also can fold up. I messed something up. It opened again. Anyways, we do have our own climate zone here for the back as well, with the multi-function controls. We can do the seats and all that, which is cool. Okay, let's see if it closes this time. Anyways, aside from that, there's leather trim behind the seats as well, which is kind of crazy to see. Like, look how fancy all this is. And then this does have a little, I guess, a mirror too. Hello. But yeah, a little center console in the back. I mean, this is nice. Now taking a look at the front door panel again, beautiful material use all over. Really nice finish on the window controls. You got stuff like your mirror adjustments, your seat adjustments as well. Blind spot warning with the mirrors too. And then you can see again with the pillowy headrest and really cool trim on the rest of the seat. And then you got more like leather trim there on the side. Fancy looking pedals down below. And then look at the trim here all across the dash. Now here's a quick look at the steering wheel. This is very interesting with the wood trim there on the outside. You can see the leather trim on the center portion and nice stitching on the airbag cover. Paddle shifters there on the back, and then you got a bunch of practical controls on the front, including stuff like your adaptive cruise control. And then you got your regular stocks there on the back. Full digital gauge cluster here with the full size. And overall, I mean, use with it's pretty easy. You've got the little screen here that'll pop up on the side, which you can use to kind of change the display layout if you want to see different bits of vehicle information too. And this does come with a 360 camera system. Trajectory lines turn with the steering wheel. Really good resolution overall with the system. And it does the thing where it'll fill in underneath the vehicle as well. And then response time with the screen, it's great. We also have a bunch of different drive modes that'll pop up here at the bottom with the screen. Most of them are for off-roading, which I don't think anyone buying an SV is gonna take it off-road. I don't think. And then we got stuff like a wireless phone charging pad, little USB here, and then a really nice wood trim throughout. And you can see that it continues to this area with like the cup holders and then the cool box in the center console. And they still do these armrests. I like how they have the white to accent the other white trim pieces throughout. I mean, like the back of the seats, for example. I just noticed these seats are brown in the front and then those seats are white. I didn't realize that before. Very interesting contrast with this interior. Still get the double glove box. So you got the top lid here, bottom lid, nice trim, especially it goes across. And then we do have the camera rear view mirror, and then leather headliner. I don't know if that's going to pop up on camera very well. I mean, even the pillar itself, actually I don't think the pillar is leather. Maybe it's hard to tell, but here's a better viewpoint of the top. This is interesting. It's cloth there on the inside, but then it's leather on the outside. But yeah, that's fancy, that's for sure. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood. It's a heads-up display. Both the mirrors do a blind spot ring. Both the rest of the rear. And man, this spec is crazy. Let us set off. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to hit the camera. But yeah, this is a fancy vehicle. I'm not sure what I'm going to title this video, but maybe like the Rolls Royce of Range Rovers, something out there. But it's super nice. I think that so I have an S-Class demo this week from Mercedes. I think this is kind of like Range Rover's S-Class SUV. Obviously Range Rover doesn't make sedans, but I think it goes more so than that. I think that Mercedes doesn't make a true S-Class SUV, and so this is, and we'll kind of explain it throughout the driving, but that's kind of what I almost see this as. But first off, let's get a little rip in this V8. So this engine, comes from BMW, and it's a great powertrain in terms of power delivery. It's quieter than the previous powertrain, and it's different. So with the supercharged powertrain, you're going to get more push right off the bat because you don't have turbo lag. But with this, once it gets into those turbos, I mean, it's a monster. It is an absolute monster. Now, ride quality on this is fantastic. Again, I literally drove an S-Class to the dealership, and I can tell you this is like right on par with the S-Class when it comes to ride quality. It is so comfortable, and the seats are also amazingly comfortable. But unlike that S-Class, you have this like upright, king of the hill type feel because of how high the seating position is. It's a really cool feeling. You get a similar feeling like, G-Wagon, Toyota Land Cruiser, all those vehicles have that high seating position. And that's why a lot of people go for bigger SUVs like this, so you can just feel like you're on top of everything. Now, aside from that, handling's great. for a big SUV, this thing handles amazingly well. And you guys are probably noticing I'm not like going crazy with the driving, and that's something that I want to focus on. Like, you know, the SV's got some big power, but the thing is, it's not necessarily something that you're going to be using all the time, if that makes sense. It's more like, you know, when you get in the interstate, yeah, you might get into a little bit, but it's mostly so that the vehicle can get out of its own way. I think that's the reason why it has big power, less so to be a performance vehicle, if that makes sense. And so, and again, the Mercedes S-Class does the same thing. They've got a twin-turbo V8 in that as well. And it's not about, you know, going around corners fast and all of that exit speed and everything like that. It's more so about having enough power so that if you got to pass someone, you can do it, right? You've got the get up and go. And I mean, that's what this is about. And like this acceleration that I just did, anyone who owns this, like, they might do this here and there, but for the most part, they're not going to do that. What they're going to do is partial throttle, because I've seen people drive these. They don't rocket out of anything with it. It's just, you know, get into the throttle, and because it has so much power, so much torque, that partial throttle moves the vehicle. Like, it really moves the vehicle. And we'll kind of do it here at this light once it turns green. But yeah, aside from that, just to, you know, cap things off here with this review on the SV. Range Rover's doing some cool stuff with the SV. I think it's fun. So here's what I'm talking about. So you can see I'm just riding the torque. Not like, that's what I see most people driving is like. And so because it has so much power, you do that and it just gets up. So as I was saying, I don't think that Mercedes actually builds a real S-Class SUV, because I've driven the GLS. I've even driven the GLS Maybach. Very nice car, but it just doesn't quite capture the same essence as the S-Class sedan, whereas this, even though it's a Range Rover, it does. The styling, right, it's very recognizable. The interior has this unique, really well-built, really luxurious feel, and then it drives. I would say this drives better than a GLS Maybach. I think not only the acceleration that this has, I mean, it's right there, but just the ride comfort and the handling, it just feels more luxury. Range Rover, that's all they focused on, right, is luxury off-road SUVs, and they know how to build them. So let me know what you guys think about the full-size SV. My personal take on this, as cool as I think this is, if I were to get a full-size, personally, and again, I feel like I'm kind of out of touch, you know, to an extent with people that would be buying this, I would get like basically just a base model V8, because I'd want the V8 for the power, and then I don't care about all the luxury features. Like, they're really cool, don't get me wrong, and this interior is really cool because of kind of like the more bespoke type finishes. But again, for me, it's like, I would just want the power that the full-size offers, the size, right? And I mean, the other thing is, with the full-size, is it already comes with a lot of features as standard. So it's like, I don't know, for me, I feel like that would be enough. I think this SV, it's, I wouldn't say, well, it is, it's kind of overkill, but it's cool. It's overkill in a cool way. So let me know your thoughts.